Welcome to Cheese in Depth. I'm Michael Landis, and today we have Rustic Bakery. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pairing up the crisps and flatbreads with cheese. A lot of times we talk about cheese and crackers, but this takes it to a completely different level. And so we have a really fun group, and I'm going to turn it over right now to Leanne, and she's going to introduce herself, and we'll go around the room getting everybody introduced, then off to our little talk. So, Leanne.
Hi, I'm Leanne Miller. I am based in Littleton, Colorado, part of the Rustic Bakery sales team, which is based in Petaluma, California. Nice to meet everybody.
Hi, I'm Brian with Fiscalini Farmstead. We are a dairy farm and cheese making operation, and I am in Modesto, California, and I'm happy to be here.
Hi everyone, Erin Selby. I hail from California, Sonoma County, representing Chenel and Marin French cheese, two iconic brands that are under the same parent owner umbrella. So we're sort of like sister companies. Chenel is located right near the city of Sonoma, and we produce goat milk cheese exclusively. And about 40 miles away is Marin French cheese, which is out in the western part of Sonoma, Petaluma and Marin County line. So that is 100% cow milk, brie, and camembert. I'm very excited today because we are launching a new baby, and we're going to talk about that and do a little tasting. So thank you, Michael and Leanne, for including that in the lineup today.
Hi everyone, I'm Lynn Giacomini Stray, one of the co-owners of Point Reyes Farmstead, and we are located in Northern California, actually right down the road from Marin French, only about 20 minutes away. Yeah. So we're located, in Marin County. But as you can see by my background, we're right on Tomales Bay, and on the other side of Tomales Bay is the Inverness Ridge and then the ocean. So our area is known for dairying, and we have a farmstead operation. As you can see, the Holsteins behind us. We use our milk and our cheese and are very proud of that. Since 1959, we've been on this property, and we started using our milk and cheese in 2000. So we're really excited to do these pairings today, especially with the holidays coming up and giving you guys some new ideas. And Erin, I'm very jealous of you being in Chatham. It's one of my favorite places. So good to see you. And hi, Brian. Hi, Leanne.
Hi.
Let's go ahead, and I'm going to turn it over to Leanne. Leanne?
Thanks, Michael. Well, Rustic Bakery has been in the retail business for about 16, 17 years now. I'm the East Coast Director of Sales, and I've been with the company for about 2 years. I've worked retail and distribution, and I've been familiar with Rustic Bakery for so long that one of the owners, Josh Harris, actually sold to me at Whole Foods. So really long history with them, super excited to be working for these guys, selling awesome crackers and crisps. And we're actually going to feature some cookies today, which I'm really excited about. The story started with this box of classic olive oil cell Gris flatbreads. Carol and her husband, Josh, that I mentioned before, made these flatbreads for friends and family, and they wanted an elevated cracker, and they made these for family and friends. And of course, as great small business stories happen, they were encouraged by their friends to sell these at retail. So they took their first big batch down to Cowgirl Creamery in San Francisco, and they sold 50 cases right away, and found out that they were in the bakery business. So they had to get really creative and rent a kitchen and get started. Josh would mix the dough and Carol would bake the flatbreads. And since then, Rustic Bakery was born, and we've developed, we've gotten into a whole line of really fun goodies. So it's a short and sweet story, going strong for 16, 17 years now. We also have 4 cafes in Marin County. If you're ever in the area, you could stop by for some fresh baked bread or a yummy salad. I wish I lived in Northern California so I could enjoy our product even more. But yeah, let's get into the first pairing with Laura Chenel and Marin French.
Okay. Well, the first one that we're going to present is the marinated jalapeno chili goat cheese. And this is an over-the-top, out-of-the-box pairing. This starts as a log, and I'm hoping you can see this okay, but the log is cut into medallions, and there's 4 in this particular little pail, and it's cute. It's a repurposed pail. And then it's marinated in this particular one in a jalapeno oil and crushed chilies. It gives it some fire, but not too much. And it's this nice yin yang of the creaminess of the goat milk, the tangy goat milk, and the chili. So a few years back, we were doing a elevated pairing event with one of the local sparkling wine houses out in Sonoma Valley, and we came up with the Rustic Bakery, the chocolate cacao nib shortbread, and pairing this cheese with it. So you get more yin yang. So now you're introducing the sweetness of the chocolate, and then the wine pairing was the sparkling. So there's just all of these interesting flavors going on with the cheese and the cookie and the sparkling. So it was a keeper. So that's our first pairing. Laura Chenel, if some of you on here are not familiar, is an iconic producer of goat cheese. She was in the pack of women out in Western Sonoma back in the 60s and 70s that really helped educate the consumer's palate to goat chefs. I mean, back then, nobody would try goat cheese. And so she was one of the pioneers. And it's just been a great success story. She took off with Alice Waters of Chez Panisse, starting up her business back then. And Alice discovered Laura's goat log and again, sliced it in a medallion, baked it in breadcrumbs, and it turned out to be this big oozy crouton on top of her mesclun salad. And that is how Laura started becoming a national game changer in the business, was that one restaurant. So it's a pretty exciting story, and to this day, that salad is still made there.
Erin, really quickly, if I can, I just wanted to comment on our shortbread cookies. They're not overly sweet, so traditionally you wouldn't think to pair a shortbread cookie with cheese, but they're actually an awesome pairing, and we're doing 3 cookie and cheese pairings today, just to kind of show you how to add some fun and excitement into your cheese trays with, a little cookie action.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, because it is not a sweet chocolate. So I think that dovetails all of the different flavor profiles beautifully.
So the next one we're going to do is the, this is my favorite crisp that we make, the tart cherry, cacao nib, and almonds. Erin was a lot of fun to put the pairings together with, because she's very adventurous, and we're going to pair it with their black truffle chev that I'll let Erin tell you about.
Sure. So after Laura launched her business which was the original plain goat log with Alice Waters. She ventured out and started creating different flavored logs. So this particular one is our 4-ounce truffle log. And, you know, the holidays are coming up and everybody loves truffle, particularly during the holidays. So we thought this would be a nice, interesting pairing. So you've got a lot of flavor profiles going on again. But we thought that the cherry, the cacao, the almond, and the truffle together would be a good one. And I think it's a winner too. The truffle, they're black truffles from France, mixed in with the tangy citrusy goat milk. So it's not a huge aroma flavor. It's subtle, but you can definitely get the truffle flavor there. So it's not overpowering is what I'm trying to say. So that's our pairing number 2. And again, these cheeses are so versatile. You know, it's an indulgent, besides being beautiful on a cheese tray, you can use them as an ingredient cooking. I mean, putting on a burger or a pizza. We call it slice, crumble, or roll. You can do a lot of different things because of the texture of these logs. But they are beautiful on the cheese and cracker trays.
Yes. So like I mentioned before, the classic flatbread that started it all, we were so successful with these that we decided to make babies, also known as our olive oil celery bites. We offer 3 flavors. And the fun part about these is if you've had our classic flatbreads, you know that you got to break them in order to get them into your mouth. So we made little babies, and they're just perfect for a beautiful cheese or accoutrement that you want to put on them. And it's being paired with, I'm going to let Erin tell you because it's her baby.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna switch gears and I gotta do my Marin French hat on now. So I'm switching from Laura Chenel to Marin French. And Marin French is part of Hicks Valley Ranch, 700 acres out in the beautiful West County area of Sonoma and Marin County. Oldest cheese company in the country. Many people don't realize that, dating back to 1865 in the gold rush days. And there's a great story on how it began with 2 brothers making butter, and then there was a toxic egg pandemic. So all the dock workers down in San Francisco wanted their morning protein. So the 2 brothers decided to turn their butter business into a cheese making operation and created petite breakfast, which is not a cheese we're tasting today, but if you run across it, it's a naked, fresh, unaged brie, 1865. Fast forward, we're still in operation, and our new kid on the block is the Golden Gate. Beautiful packaging, very striking, and the orange hue is really to honor the Golden Gate Bridge, which is the gateway to Marin County, just south of us. We've just launched this month, and it is on the shelves out in California, I know for sure. It'll be distributed nationwide for those of you that are not in the area, but it's just started. So basically, it's a wash fry. Okay, what does wash frying mean? It's a cheese that's been literally washed in a brine of some sort. It can be wine or beer. In our case, it's a salt brine. And there's a particular Brevy linens, we call it, or Brevibacterium linens, to be technical. And it's a flora out in that area, very distinct distinct to that local area. And it turns it the orange hue. Some cheeses you find in the grocery store are orange, and they have what's called annatto added, which is a plant sort of coloring. This is natural, and I'm going to hold up a actual unwrapped so you can see the beautiful orange rind there. This one is not quite ripe yet, and as a washed rind, I mean, there's going to be an aroma. Some people call it stinky, dirty socks, but it's a savory vegetal flavor for sure. I'm a stinky cheese gal. I love it. And it's just a little bit different than your brie. They're both surface ripened, but this has different cultures than, say, your white fluffy brie. We love pairing it with the Selby, in all honesty, because those crackers are not overwhelmingly with a robust flavor. They're a great choice when you have a strong aromatic cheese like this. You don't want to be mixing up way too many flavors. So it is my go-to cracker for a cheese like this. I'm also a dark beer gal. I love porters and stouts. You want to add that to the mix, it's great. Does well with any sort of hoppy IPAs or, you know, cider for that matter, or whatever you like. So that's our new baby on the shelves. Very exciting. This is our first of a new line of higher end specialty cheeses that we'll be producing in the future.
Erin, it's super yummy. Thank you for sharing it with me.
You're welcome. And you know, the Best Buy, when you buy it, don't be afraid to wait until the Best Buy date, or actually a little bit after that, because it'll get really nice and gooey, and I don't know, I love it that way.
Thank you.
Those are three really fun pairings. I really like the diversity. I like it that, you know, you have the cocoa nib, you have the almond, and that's so crunchy and gooey, you know, with all the almonds and cocoa and cherries in it. And then, you know, Erin had sent me a Golden Gate, 2 Golden Gates, as a matter of fact. So I had an opportunity to be able to try it. And that was the first thing that I reached for, was the olive oil sea Gris, because I didn't want to really get it in, the flavor is so rich and buttery of that cheese that I really wanted it to just have a little bit of flavor, a little bit of saltiness, but also it just makes a really easy way for as a vehicle to be able to handle that, because the pieces that I had were very ripe. They were great and gooey, buttery, creamy. It was just magnificent. It's such a wonderful cheese, especially if you let it get a little longer in the tooth and let it really ripen out. That's such a beautiful cheese.
Yeah, thank you. We're getting great feedback already. Exciting.
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next pairing, which is going to take us to Fiscalini Farmstead with his Cheddar and his Lionza. And I'll turn it over to Leanne to kind of talk a little bit about what you're going to pair with it, and then over to Brian.
Our first pairing that we're going to do with Fiscalini is our Meyer lemon. We are doing cookies again, folks. Our Meyer lemon shortbread that are not overly sweet with the Fiscalini Lionza. I think this is a really great pairing because when I opened that package of Lionza, the first thing I smelled was lemons, and I'm going to let Brian tell you more about the cheese.
Yeah, thank you, Leanne. Thanks for the introduction. Getting into this pairing, the Lionza cheese that we make is an Alpine style cheese. So we're gonna, travel to Switzerland here through this pairing. So the Lionza cheese was inspired by a trip that my father took to Switzerland to go visit some of our relatives. And he talked to some of the local people, talked to some of the cheesemakers in the area, and he was able to put together a recipe for this cheese. So it's a cheese that's made with raw cow's milk. It's aged for 6 months. And when you're trying the cheese, when you look at it, you'll see that there are very small holes in the cheese, just like you would see a typical Swiss cheese have those really large holes. We call this kind of a baby Swiss. Like I said, Alpine style, 6 months of age. I really like this pairing too. I think that the cheese has some fruity characteristics to it. And then when you pair it with the lemon shortbread, it's a lot of flavors going on at once. I think that if we were, able to wash it down with a hoppy IPA,
Oh, yeah.
that would really kind of finalize this pairing for us. Send us into the weekend maybe a little bit early, but yeah, I think it was a really good pairing. It's one of the favorite cheeses that we make here of mine, just because of the story, the connection to Switzerland that our family has. And Lionza is actually the name of the town in Switzerland that my great grandfather immigrated from when he came to the United States. So that's kind of connecting all of the global dots there. But I think it was a great pairing, and Leanne came up with this one, so I'll give her the credit there. But yeah, I think it's a really good one.
Oh, thank you. I think it's great too. Again, please try cookies and other interesting things on your holiday cheese boards or your everyday cheese boards. The next one we're doing is the Old World Aged Cheddar with our everything flatbreads. We launched these in 2019. All of the spices and seeds and garlicky goodness that is in a everything bagel is baked into these delicious flatbreads. And the best part about it is it doesn't get stuck in your teeth. And I think this pairs really well with the Old World Aged Cheddar. And to me, it's just a delicious snack. And I'll let Brian tell you more about his wonderful cheddar.
Yeah, so the Old World Aged Cheddar, we went through a name change with this cheese. Previously, it was our bandage wrapped cheddar, meaning that it's aged in a cheesecloth. So this is another raw cow's milk cheese, and it's aged for 14 months. This cheese has been really, I think this is the cheese that put us on the map as artisan cheesemakers in California. And we've been very, very fortunate to win some pretty impressive awards with this cheese. 5-time North America Best Farmstead Cheddar at the American Cheese Society, and then a 3-time World's Best Farmstead Cheddar at the World Cheese Awards in London. So we're very, very proud of this product. Like I said, it helped put us on the map. It's, the inspiration for all of the cheeses that we made, making it in a traditional way from raw cow's milk, open vat. Really, our cheesemakers are working very hard. So I know Michael's had an opportunity to come out and visit our plant, but if you see all of the work that goes into all the cheeses that are made here today, and ours is no exception, but I think that's where you start to see the differences in taste, because our cheesemakers are working so hard to do what they do. And then getting into this pairing a little bit, when you try this Old World Aged Cheddar, you'll notice that it has kind of a grainy texture to it, and that is the tyrosine crystals that are breaking down in the cheese. And I think that sort of that graininess from the cheese and a little bit of that grainy kind of bagel flavor that Leanne was talking about, that's what makes this pairing so good for me, is that they complement each other very well. So the take home message when you're building your own cheese boards is try all kinds of stuff, because you're never going to know, what works and what doesn't. But I think that if you would have substituted any of the cheeses that you're going to try today with any of these crackers, you're going to find a unique experience, and they're all great. So thanks, Leanne, for setting this one up too.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, what you did say about the everything flatbread, that is a really great way to be able to bring those flavors together. And you talk about the crunchiness and that it gives you a really good mouthfeel. I mean, it's really it's really an exciting pairing, because you get that feedback, you get that and all those flavors. So I was really surprised about the lemon shortbread, because Lionza is one of my favorite cheeses, and I use that a lot in the pairings, but I just never really thought about using the lemon with that, but it makes total sense. So that's a really cool pairing.
Well, when I talked to Brian initially, the first thing he mentioned was citrus, and I was like, let's do it with the Meyer lemon shortbread, and it worked. It worked great.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, Brian. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Lynn, and she's bringing a couple of her classic cheeses along with it. So Leanne, you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yes, we have two pairings with Point Reyes, and the first one is their creamy, dreamy Toma, my favorite to use on grilled cheese. And we are pairing it with our Apricot Brandy Pistachio crisps. This is our #1 seller, especially during the holidays, because everybody likes the thought of brandy. And it's got this subtle essence of brandy when you munch on it and smell it. And it just goes wonderfully with this beautiful Toma that Lynn will tell you more about.
Thanks, Leanne. First, I just want to say that, I've known Carol and Josh, the founders of Rustic Bakery, since the day one, the very beginning. And talk about, local people do really well. I've seen them grow, and it's been so great to see all their product lines grow and how well that they pair with cheese. And I think that from the beginning, Rustic Bakery has really called out cheeses a lot in their packaging, and has been very much on the forefront of introducing the experiences of cheese and crackers and cookies. So they're also right down the road from us, which is really nice. So today, as Leanne said, we've got our classic Point Reyes Toma. And this was the first cheese that came out after our classic original blue that you'll be trying here shortly on our next pairing. But Toma is an Italian-inspired artisan cheese. And we reached back to our Italian heritage, just like the Fiscalini family going to the Swiss side, because we really wanted to emulate, being a farmstead operation, we wanted to emulate the Italians and how they incorporate cheese into their everyday diet. And we wanted to make a cheese that really you could enjoy from morning till night. And Toma, if you've ever been to Italy, there's a lot of different Tomas. So Toma is not, there is no standard of identity specifically to Toma. Lots of different recipes, lots of different milk types and milk, different make procedures. And Toma really means a farmer's cheese. And as I mentioned, in Italy, every village has a different Toma. And so it's kind of the villages or the people's cheese that they'll eat from morning till night. This is, of course, cow's milk on our property, all natural, all cow's milk, all of our products are. The flavor profile that you'll get with Toma is very buttery. This is a washed curd and pressed cheese. So when we talk about washed curd, different than a washed rind. Washed curd means that we will actually wash the curds with warm or hot water right before we hoop it. And what that does is it brings a nice sweet nutty flavor to the cheese. And what you get is up front a real buttery note in the flavor, very almost like a brown butter, popcorn butter, and then it goes into this acidity at the end, and that acidity, we call it our grassy tang, and that really brings you back to that full fat flavor up front, so it balances it out really well. I loved this with the apricot, brandy and pistachio shortbread. And you've got some ginger in here too, I believe. Do you have a little bit of ginger in this one? It's got a little bit of spice to it. And we've also used it with your cherry cocoa nib. And it's great because it's just the fat in the Toma is just so nice with the stone fruit of the apricot, the nuttiness of the pistachio, and then like you said, that brandy that gives it a little something.
And a little rosemary.
And and there's a little rosemary in there too. Yeah. This is it's really nicely toasted, and that's exactly what the Toma needs. So this could be dressed up on a cheese board or just an everyday snack. So the Toma is really, once again, your everyday cheese. So this was just a great great combination that we typically will just eat for lunch, believe it or not. We'll come in, we'll get a piece of Toma, and we use a lot of the Rustic Bakeries in our gift packs to direct to consumers. And so we usually have the celery bites available, but it's always like a little bit of a uplift when we get to use the herbs. So love this combination, Leanne.
Thank you. Our next pairing is the original blue, as Lynn had mentioned, and our beautiful mini gingerbread tile cookies. They come in a 4-pack, individually wrapped. You guys can see that there. Nice little filigree design and a light royal icing, and just amazing with this original blue that I'll let Lynn tell you the story about.
Yeah, this was something that this is kind of a classic pairing that we discovered years ago with our original blue, is to have ginger with original blue. And when Rustic Bakery made these, we just thought, wow, this is such a home run. And especially with the holidays coming up, we wanted people to, once again, think outside the box. But this particular tile cookie is all about the holidays. It's the spice, it's the ginger. That's where I was going with this. I think I was eating both of these earlier, Leanne. But anyway, this is really fun. So we paired it with our original blue. Original blue is our classic style blue cheese. It is our flagship. It's what we started making in the year 2000. It is our one raw milk cheese that we still make, and that raw milk really gives it a distinctive flavor. It's very sweet and bright, almost has some citrus notes up front, and when you taste that fresh milk, and then it goes straight into that pepper pungency that you will recall from classic style blues. And it's got a nice, beautiful long finish. But one of the things that's unique about original blue to other blues, I believe, is just its creamy mouthfeel. So it's very luxurious. It's very, it's almost creamy like butter. If you let it sit out and come to room temperature, it's spreadable, which is why we like it on cookies, such as a ginger, this ginger tile here. And the combination of the two, the pepper pungency with the ginger. And I think originally when they made these, there was no glazed topping when they first started making these years ago, the gingerbread. And then they put the sweetness of, and it's lightly sweet, but it actually works really well with the blue cheese. You may know of another great classic combination of blue cheese and honey. So you're kind of wanting to balance out the sweet with the pepper pungency. And that glaze actually does it. So this is an appetizer or a dessert, you name it, just something sitting by the fire and enjoying this nice combination. So yeah, love this, Leanne.
Yeah, it's a real winner. Thank you, Lynn. Also, I would add a glass of port wine to have by the fireplace with this this pairing as well. Thank you so much. I really wanted to say to all the cheesemakers, I really appreciate your time in putting these pairings together. And I love our California community and all the great artisan products that we produce.
Yeah, when I was thinking about this, and we had talked about it when we did a program earlier about putting these together, I thought that it was just natural to be able to bring the California producers together to be able to do it. The diversity that you all have really created a nice platform for each of Leanne's crackers and crisp and flatbreads. And so I thought it was really nice that you could really take that diversity and make such, different versions of it. The ginger, I think, is it's one of my favorite. I've always loved ginger. I do ginger ale and bourbon, so it's a favorite, but also, the combination of having that in there. Verdant does a ginger syrup and ginger bites that go well with goat cheese. They go well with cheddar. They go great with blue. So there's a really natural way of doing that. So I really appreciate it as everybody took the time to come out and play. And I know that you guys work together to be able to do the pairings. I'm going to post this up probably tomorrow, the next day. And these are great ideas for entertaining and, being able to diversify from, just cheese and crackers to something to another level, being that we all have cheeses that do take everything to the next level. So Brian, Lynn, Leanne, Erin, thank you so much for coming by and spending this time with us. I really greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in January.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I have, so far, well, put it this way. I have tickets. I'm coming out regardless, even if I don't go to San Francisco. So I will either come by and see you personally, or I'll see you definitely in San Francisco.
Great. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right, guys, take care. And again, thanks so much and be safe out there.
Bye.
Bye.